Dr. William L. Johnson III here with our morning meditation. Every week, I share these messages or hope to share these messages that will encourage and inspire each of us as we journey through our lives. We are aware that life sometimes comes with burdens that are heavy to carry, sometimes changes that are hard to adapt to, and sometimes moments in which we find ourselves looking for the strength to climb through the very difficult terrain that life brings. Whatever it is, we hope that these words of encouragement and inspiration will fuel you as you make your next steps through the next days, the next weeks, next months, next year. In fact, we hope they stay with you for the rest of your life to encourage you along the way, that you can pull from them, count on them, and be encouraged by them. Now to our morning meditation. Today's morning meditation is entitled Strengthening Our Core. Strengthening Our Core. I was thinking about this message over the last several days for several reasons, and I'll explain later. But what I discovered with them is that it's important to strengthen our core. One of the things that I've learned about life is that we are not who other people think we may be. I hate to say it, but it is important to note. And most people don't really know us for who we really are. We may be able to share with them who they think we might be, but they don't really know who we are. And even fewer people know us for the people that other than what we presented to them. So I wrote down some notes, if you don't mind. I want to share them with you, and I think it might be helpful for our sharing this morning. The fact that we must hear ourselves and present ourselves to other people, that they might not know us, but it's important that we know ourselves. It's important that we are aware of who we are, where our strengths lie, where our weaknesses are, what it is that we are after, what it is that we want to recoil from and avoid. Because if we are aware of those things, we are better equipped to face life when we are aware of what we have inside of us and who we really are. To know who we really are, or even in the changing, unstable environment that is happening around us. Everywhere we look and in everything we see, we've been looking for context clues about who we are, whether it's from television or entertainment, whether it's from our parents and our families, whether it's from government and what we hope to receive from them to give guidance to our lives, maybe to our religious institutions and our faith communities, that we're hoping to find out who we are from all of these places and resources. And somehow, sometimes, and even in these very challenging times, those places have found themselves trying to figure out who they are. The government goes through what it goes through. Our workplace and our career may change. Our family dynamic may be shifting. Parents may be getting older. Children may be graduating and going off into school or going off to life on their own. We may even find a change in our own health situation, our own conditions in our own lives. And sometimes who we were 10 years ago may not be who we are right now. And that is why it is imperative to strengthen our core, to get a handle on who we really are, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, yes, and yes, physically. So I wanted to share this message that I thought would be important. Recently, I've been trying to get in better shape, and I've discovered that one of the things in doing that is that the trainers at the gym and others have always said you have to strengthen your core. Now, I understand physically where that is, but I also am learning to discover where it is really for me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The very thing that makes me who I am, the very thing that gives me my own personality and gives me the way I see things in life, the altar of my soul has to be strengthened so that I am aware that as I'm moving through these changing dynamics in life, that I know who I am as I navigate through them. And so I think it's important that we that we strengthen our core, that we get a sense of who we really are. Because truthfully, my friends, the world around us is constantly changing. And the way we used to try to get some content or some context for who we are by the crowd we hung out with, or where we went to school, or what neighborhood we live in, or who our friends are, many of us are fastly or quickly discovering that those places may not be able to be as useful in telling us who we are as before. Because the truth is that who we are never really came from those places. Who we are then influences and impacts those places that we find ourselves in, but it can't tell us who we are inside. A good friend of mine said to me some years ago that it's important to have someone close to you to be a roadmap for what's happening if you ever get lost on the inside. If you get lost in a neighborhood, say you go to Cleveland, or say you go to Los Angeles, or go to New Orleans, or if you go to a new city that you haven't lived in, or go across the seas into another place, go to Spain, go to England. If you get there as a tourist, you might find yourself looking at a map, trying to find your way around. But those who know the landmarks and those who know the topography of the land and where you're going and where you've been might be able to give you some instruction and some support about not being lost or finding your way. However, if you are lost inside, only the people that you allow on the inside of you, only the people you've told the truth of your life to, only the people who know the core of you can help you to rediscover your core being and then put you back on the right spiritual track or help you along the way. Now, that is a pretty tricky idea because in this world, we've learned how to protect ourselves from enemies, foreign and domestic. We don't allow people in close to us. We don't share all of our stories. We don't share the pain we've been through or the disappointment we've been through or the broken hearts we've experienced. We don't share what has happened with our kids when they're in trouble. We don't share the family dynamics when we are losing a loved one and how everyone's at their throats, at each other's throats because they're grieving out loud and they don't know what to do or to say. We don't share the part where in which we have spent most of what we have just trying to survive, and now we're making it on on bitter ends, trying to make it to the end of the month or the end of the week or to the next payday. Or we don't share that when we found ourselves trying to do our best, that we were trying to be good to people, they were not necessarily good to us. All of those scenarios are a part of our living. But here is where it's important. When you get your hands on strengthening your core, you'll discover that right there at the seat of your soul, the one who created you is always there too. So bunker down or center down long enough so that you can get a sense of how to strengthen your core. What's most important to you? What do you value the most? What do you really want in life? Paulo Coelho says it this way in his book, The Alchemist. He says something like this. He says, when you know what you really want, the entire universe conspires to bring it to pass. I think what that means is that when you have strengthened your core and when you are aware of the things that are most important, not the peripheral things, not the house or the cars, not the things that are passing away, not the fact that you may have this popularity today or people may not like you tomorrow. All of those are peripheral in our lives. But when you strengthen the things that really matter, and you get your hands on the things that mean the most to your soul, you'll discover that the entire universe will help you bring to pass that which is most important and most valuable to you. So I want to share with you that those words from Paulo Coelho are really important. But I also want to share these words that from my faith tradition. It reminds me that that's where I am. It comes from a proverb chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. It says this: trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. In other words, the things that are most important to you come from your ability to trust your creator who made you and gave you purpose in this life. And what are you here for matters. And when you discover in the midst of that that you have strengthened your core, then you can face dragons, you can overcome mountains, you can discover that your children are not as far away as you think, or your relationships are not as broken and fractured as they may seem, or that you are not as broken as you thought you were. that you find strength in the midst of difficulty. And when people wonder how you made it through, you discover over time that it was because of that journey. Personally, I've discovered that that is the truth. I was recently, experiencing a moment. You have a moment where you reflect on your life. And I've been living in the same place for probably the past 8 years. And it was a place where I landed in order to put my life back together after going through all of the upheavals that life brings sometimes. And when I came through that moment, I was packing up and getting ready to move. And when I finally got clear and was about to say goodbye to my former place of residence to move into a new place and a new life and a new journey, I had to take a moment to reflect. And I realized that the place where I was, even though I struggled with it, was all instrumental in strengthening my core. It strengthened me. So I'll say it another way. Don't begrudge the challenges of your life. They might be coming to strengthen your core. It might strengthen your faith, or strengthen your belief, or strengthen your love for your family, or strengthen your love for yourself. And even though these moments may come, a broken heart, a broken dream, a challenge along the way, maybe something that's harder to do that you don't really want to do, maybe a career change that you would not have done if it had not been for the door closing and pushing you through a new door. Whatever it is in your life, I'm encouraging you to allow it to happen and trust the one who created you to strengthen your core. You'll be better for it. You'll be stronger for it. And as the songwriter says, you'll even be wiser for it. Be encouraged. I want you to be able to share these messages. I hope this message lands on you or sits with you and encourages you. I don't know who I'm speaking to or why this message was important for you, but I want you to know it's okay to let the things that are most important to you be strengthened by challenge and sometimes adversity, because when you come out, you'll be ready for what you need in the next steps and the next version of you. Be blessed. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great life. Remember, you're loved, you're appreciated, and you're irreplaceable. Have a great one. Take care. Bye bye.